Well, hello everybody. It's April 8th, 2015. This is John. I'm here with, I guess, the first drawing video that I've ever really done. I haven't really done these before. So you get to sit here and watch me ramble on while I talk about this art that I did. Basically, I had opened up my DeviantArt page to requests, and um, one of the users there, Neforium, requested this Bird-Man to be drawn up, and the funny thing is, it's kind of a funny story. I had already agreed to do the artwork, but I had not looked at any of the reference drawings, like none at all. So I was just like, sure, I'll do your guy for you, and I didn't even look at the reference drawings, and then I looked at the drawings, and I'm like, holy smokes, what did I get myself into? This is like, I mean, I'm used to drawing like cute girls and things like that, and now we've got this bird creature that has like detailed feathers and everything like that. But I actually had fun. I had fun doing him. I didn't really expect to have this much fun. I thought the task was kind of daunting when I first started, um, but it actually turned out to be a pretty cool piece of art, and I'm pretty proud of it. But so anyways, so I usually start out with like a rough sketch, as you can kind of see in the background back there. Um, but with this one, I started this because it's my first video. I was experimenting with a few different things, and I actually lost the first recording of where I was working on that sketch. So this is mostly just the inking process going on over here, and it was really, to me, challenging to work on something. I looked at the reference drawings, and I think this is supposed to mostly be like feathers. He's supposed to be made up of like feathers, but it almost looks like fur. I had a pretty hard time with that. And I mean, and you can see kind of at the top of his head, there's some areas that look a little bit more like feathers, but for the majority of the body, it looks kind of like fur, which I don't think that's a bad thing. It Like, I mean, if you look at reference images of birds and things like that, when their feathers are really small, it's almost like fur. So I think that works out pretty well. Um, Now, on this drawing, I had started out with some, I can't remember, I guess it was like a brownish colored line, and I didn't realize that that was going to be so pale or light. Um, when you get closer to the end of the drawing with most of the things colored in, I decided to go with a little bit of a darker tone on this, and it turned out that it was like the lines were just way too light and they didn't show up properly, so I ended up adjusting them in the end, um, and that worked out quite a bit better than the colors that I have set up right now. But on white paper, it doesn't look too bad. Another part about this that I really enjoyed was drawing this guy's hands. I I think that they were just, they're in the form of regular human hands, which I always thought that hands are really cool to draw anyways, but they've got like these bird-like features. Like if you look at the foot of a bird, it's got these sort of scaly looking things on them, and I tried to incorporate that into the drawing, and that's sort of the essence of what was going on the reference images as well. So I took that idea and really ran with it and tried to make these hands look very bird-like, and the talons, which were also in the reference images. So that was something that I really had a lot of fun on, because it was really very different. I'm not used to it, and it was sort of fun to work on that. That's one of the things that I like about doing requests, is that you always get something different. It's never the same. Well, I mean, you do get a lot of requests for cute girls, but but when you get a chance to work on something like this, it's really very fun, and you get to play around with it. And Neforium, I hope this was as good as you had hoped it would be. I'm not sure if this was what you were expecting, but I did my best. Um, it Now this kind of the chest hair on here, I didn't really know quite how to do this at first. I was really like trying a few different things, and thank God for layers, because I went through this process like 4 times trying to figure out how exactly to do the color change on his chest there. And it worked out okay in the end, but what I ended up doing was just basically separating the different colors into different layers, and I actually shading them separately, because it was going to be too much of a task to try and shade it all at once. So that's what I ended up doing. You see here, that's where I was changing the lines to black, which I'm not a big fan of black lines for the most part. I have done a lot of drawings in black lines, but more recently I've come to realize that black lines, they actually take a lot away from drawings in general, so I try to stay away from that a lot in more recent artworks. But because of the darker tone of this image, it just needed that. I had to darken it up. So you can see, with the dancing ants around the I say dancing ants. Maybe I should explain what that is. Yeah, in like Photoshop or like this paint tool, Sai, when you make a selection around something, it looks like there's these dancing ants around where it is that you selected. I call them dancing ants, but it's really just another term for a selection box. But anyways, so that was one of the many things that I was trying when I was trying to figure out how to do that hair on there. Dancing ants. Yeah, maybe you can let me know in the comments, because as far as I know, I'm the only one that refers to that lasso tool as a dancing ant. But maybe other people feel my pain too. So for the shading, what I did on this one was did just like a light pass of like a really blurry brush, and that has a lot of fall off on it. And then after that, I took basically the regular pen tool and took the same colors I used on that brush and really sharpen those shadows up. So I almost came out of the shadows with this sharp brush. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm not really good at describing what I'm doing, I guess. This is my first video. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm just kind of having fun with it. Trying to, see if I can maybe make a combination between my videos and the artwork that I do, instead of keeping them so separate. Because I believe that there's a real... I mean, you can look at a good piece of art and appreciate it, but then it's something entirely different when you actually get to see someone work on it and see the techniques that they use and that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm trying to start here, is to be able to deliver artwork, but also for you guys to be able to see how it is that I create this artwork. And I'm still learning. I'm not like a great artist or anything, but I think that there's something to be learned from exploring how other people do things. Like, if there's something that I do that you like the way that it looks, then maybe you could learn how that works and create even better art than me, just by having an understanding of how things work. Okay, so we're coming up on the final process here. I'm just working on a couple different things. The background was originally green on this, and I opened it up in GIMP, and I realized that flat background was just not going to work, so I added a gradient to it, and we adjusted some colors and things like that. And I really like the way that it turned out. I know this character is supposed to be kind of like lazy and just he smokes weed and that kind of thing and mooches off of his family, but I think I drew him a little bit too epic for that kind of thing. But yeah, Well, I hope you enjoyed this video.